This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Ready? Focus. Lock in. Buckle down. From the Great Lakes to all corners of the globe, let your passions shine with purpose in your zone. One good afternoon to you all. This is In Your Zone, brought to you by INCRadio Northern Midwest. I am Gabriel Romero, your host from Bloomingdale, Illinois. We're so glad to have you with us all today. And we're going to continue to learn more about the wonderful brethren here in the District of Great Lakes and their passions, their hobbies, their interests. And you saw in our thumbnail who our guest is for today. And before we formally introduce her, don't forget that you can share your comments, your thoughts on today's topic in our YouTube live chat, which I already see filling up. So please continue to do so, and we'll do our best to share some of your questions if we have time in our broadcast later on. But before we get to introducing our guest, remember, this is our first segment of the show. Let's take our time right now to focus. Okay. So, coming to us from the local congregation of Indianapolis, Indiana, here in the District of Great Lakes. I believe this may be the first guest we've had from Indianapolis. I'm not too sure, but let's welcome Martha to our broadcast for this afternoon. Good afternoon. By the way, thanks for joining us.
Hello po.
Hi, thank you for joining us today. And so you'll see the overlay, I think, coming up shortly. But if you were able to see, there it is. As soon as I spoke, there it showed up. Perfect. As you can see, we are highlighting you today, Martha, because you are our, I hope I can, is it ceramicist? I believe I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes,
All
ceramic.
right. So someone who is really into ceramics or pottery, if I'm not mistaken. So let's start at the beginning. How did you first come to know about pottery making and ceramics?
I've been practicing ceramics since last year, but I first became interested during my sophomore year of high school. A friend took me to her art class, and that's where I saw that they sculpted like little mugs and other little pottery items. So that's when I first gained interest.
Okay, so this became a, what do you call it? I guess, was it like introduced as like a subject within like your art classes, and then you just decided to keep learning more and more about it? Like you kept coming back to learn more about the course? Is that how it
Um,
happened?
I wasn't in any art class. She just took
Oh,
me to her
okay.
art classroom, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Nice. So, well, at least for me, I probably my first introduction into ceramics is like making mugs or like smaller items. Do you have any of the stuff that you've made?
Um, I have one of them right now. This
Okay.
is one that
Hoping to
I
see it.
made. It's a little small. Yeah, it's the color red. This is not one of my best mugs
Oh,
actually, because of how small the handle is.
oh, it looks really good to me from us, at least on the other side of the screen. But what other types of items, I guess, have you made besides mugs?
I've made sculpted art pieces that I donated to my arts program, and a bowl, and I've made a plate.
Nice. So, like, I'm curious, is there, well, I assume at the beginning, right? Like, you start off with, from what I've seen, because I've actually haven't taken a pottery or ceramics course myself, but I assume every piece or material starts off with like just that ball of clay that everyone sees you just plop onto like the wheel and then you start shaping. So I guess that's another question that comes to mind too, because how how do you get so like intricate and like work in all of the details that go into making like all of those works? Is there like a certain technique that you should have?
A very important technique before you actually start working on the clay is
Mhm.
coning. So coning is when you don't make anything yet, you just sort of prep the clay in order
Okay.
for in order for it to be properly like molded and used so it's easier for your hands to work on it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So like what so then that means not every, I guess that makes sense. Not every item is made from the same clay. Like how do you alter the clay?
Oh, how to alter the clay?
Like yeah.
Oh, hmm. When it comes to altering the clay, I
Yeah.
feel like technique is a really big part of it.
Mhm.
When it comes to making mugs, because it's the easiest to make for beginners. You need to um, you need to make sure that your hands, your palms, they're very like they're firm, they're hard,
Okay.
but they're also like they're loose enough that you can like carefully work around the clay and not
Okay.
force your way into the clay.
Ah, okay. So like I assume yeah, it seems like it's very intricate work. And do you use like, at least from what I've seen from when we were talking before our broadcast, like both your fingers and your palms play like very important roles in shaping the clay. So like how does that work? Like what does your palm do as opposed to like your fingers and the rest of your hand?
Um, your palm sort of acts as the it's the main shape. So you're like,
Okay.
squeezing it together, but your fingers acts more like a guide. So when you're squeezing with your palm, your fingers are sort of guiding that so that you know what to do and that it feels like it's going the right way that you want it to go.
Uh, okay. Because and then I also see like some I'm just reflecting on like videos I've seen in the past where like people make the mugs or I think vases sometimes like too thin and then it gets like too flimsy and then like it just like falls off and then you just like, do you really like start from scratch? Is there like no recovering if you've made like an item that's too thin? Do you really have to start over?
It depends on where the thinness is. If it's in the middle of your clay piece, then you gotta start over.
Oh,
But if it's at the top, there's actually a needle tool that you can use that you can just cut
okay.
off the top and keep the rest of the base.
Ooh, okay. So that's actually good to know. I didn't know there were additional tools that you could use besides just your hands. I guess that makes sense though. As what other like equipment? Like what do you mean by like a needle? Is like a literal like needle? Like how does
So it's a very long tool.
Okay.
So there's a metal base, and then there's like a not small needle, but a medium needle on top. Um, and you just hold that needle uh, towards the part that you want to cut, and you will use your other finger to sort of like poke the needle through the clay so that you don't
Mhm.
just randomly like like slip, and then you will like cut other parts of your clay.
Ah, okay. I just saw a comment earlier that where is it? That someone had been gifted pottery for oh there you go. First gift that from sister Zenny Weeks. The first gift brother Jerry, her husband, gave her was a tea set that he made so from ceramic. So that's really cool. I assume you've made yeah like mugs. Have you made like teapots and stuff too like that? My
Um, I haven't been. I will learn like next semester.
Oh, okay.
Semester it's just mugs and bowls and plates.
Okay, so you're still continuing to learn ceramics and the different types of ceramics pottery that you can make. And you mentioned that you were able to take this in school, right?
Yes.
Through your art programs in school. So how has, the ceramics and art program helped you as a person?
My favorite part of ceramics is how it made me a much more patient and understanding.
I get that, but
Uh,
elaborate. Yeah.
uh, Sometimes clay doesn't work the way you want, so you have to discard your pieces and tear them apart, and you have to start over. It's very frustrating, but I've learned that despite these frustrations, that if you reassess your actions and you really like take a deep breath and like be patient, you could really come out with some very beautiful pieces. And I've learned to apply this mindset to everyday life. It's helped me to understand and to come to terms with the shortcomings that I have made and other people have made. And it's made me a really good person overall. And as an Iglesianicristo member, I feel like having that calmness is a really good thing.
Nice. That is a good mindset to have, as you stated. Like, not giving up when things get rough. And I imagine myself making pottery, like just seeing it like collapse and just me wanting to give up right away. But as you like mentioned, right, there's a lot of things that you can do to recuperate and like try to adjust, right, to make sure your finished piece becomes the best that it can. So, we thank you so far for everything that you've given us, a brief introduction into getting into ceramics and pottery making, and we'll continue to get more knowledge from you as we start our next segment of the broadcast, which is again time to lock in. Okay. So once again, for those who may be watching us for the first time, our lock-in segment is where we get to learn a bit more about the passion or hobby that our guest has, and we'll also test the knowledge of those who may not know as much. So again, we've got for this week, Elsum's back to try to learn more about pottery and ceramics. But quickly, do have you done any type of like art like that in the past, Elsa?
No,
No,
I have not.
simply
I've not
put.
tried like even the ones in school where like I know like some schools they have that curricular of like you can make something like just mold something out of clay and
Yeah.
they'll be the one to bake it and you can like paint that. Or it's like I didn't get to experience that. So,
Oh.
like I would say I have zero experience with pottery.
Oh, wow. Well, now you'll have a somewhat experience, at least through general knowledge. So let's figure out, and everyone in our YouTube live chat can answer along, or try our best to answer along with our questions that we're gonna give to Elsum. And then, of course, once Elsum locks in his answer, we'll ask Martha to, verify if his answer is right or not, and an explanation if need be. So again, our first question for our lock-in segment today. Well, I guess you kind of brought it up, Elsam, in your past experience or knowledge about it, that you do bake your pieces, your art pieces, right, to get the finished product. But what is the name of that oven, quote unquote oven, in which you bake your ceramics? Yeah.
Mm, the name of the oven. Is there like another way to call it other than an oven?
There's a more official name. I'm pretty sure there is, but
Hmm.
I wonder if you've heard of this name before. Yeah, I feel like you have. Maybe.
Is it? I wonder if oven isn't like the name of it. So I'm gonna say maybe like a clay oven.
We just gave the answer right away in the question. Maybe.
Like a clay oven.
Are you locking?
Yes,
What's
I'm
the
gonna lock in with that answer.
what's the clay oven? Is that what you said? Clay
Yes.
oven. Okay. Let's see, Martha. Correct us if we need correction. What is it called?
It's called a kiln.
Wait, how do you spell that?
KILN kiln.
Oh, no.
Kiln.
Ah.
Yeah. So
Okay. I
do you
didn't
you
know
didn't know
that
that?
there was even a word. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was a word.
At first, it doesn't look like it's a word. I think to me, but it is. Do you know? Side note, Martha. Do you know how hot those ovens can go? Those kilns. Now that I know the vocabulary, do you know how
Uh,
hot they can get?
I don't remember the exact number, but it gets really, really hot. In
Uh
order
huh.
for you to bisque fire it, you have to
Okay.
like get it really, really up there so that the clay can harden and that the color will really come out.
Okay. Noted. And I'm pretty sure that it's not something you can do at home in your regular oven.
No.
No. Okay, so don't try to bake any pottery in your regular ovens. I'm pretty sure the kilns go much hotter than a regular oven. I'm pretty sure. All right, next question. You kind of brought it up in your explanation though, Martha, but also um aside from, the coloring of clay or pottery or artwork like that,
Mhm.
you can also apply a coating to the ceramics and pottery, and you'll see that question up on your screens. What is the name, or I guess term, for this coating that you can apply on your ceramics or pottery, and it gives it like a shine or like a gloss?
Again, you're asking me for like the names of stuff. I feel
Again,
like I wouldn't know.
I feel like once you hear the name of this term,
Mhm.
you'll understand why it's called it. Because
Okay,
I've heard
okay.
this in other uh
Is,
I don't know if industry is the
is
right
it a
word, but I've heard it
polish
in other
then?
places at all. Polish,
Yeah.
good guess. Maybe it's right. I don't
That's what
know.
I'm gonna lock in on that.
Okay,
I'm gonna call it a
he's
polish.
calling it a polish. What do you think? Or well, not think, but what is the answer, Martha?
So the answer is glaze.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. Okay. Is that basically like, does a glaze, like before you put it, well, I guess when you put it on the artwork, is it like similar to, I just automatically think of like what you do for like donuts. Is it like the same like consistency, or like the same type of
No,
appearance?
actually,
Oh
glaze
no.
has like
Okay.
a watery texture. So
Okay.
yes, the liquid glaze, the one that you have to mix with a power tool, that one has a watery texture. But if you're painting it, then it does have the consistency of a glazed donut. Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Ooh.
Oh, the shiny glossy look should have been like a giveaway.
Oh well, that's all right. Okay, we'll try to be more forgiving. You're not doing too well at the moment, also.
I know.
Sorry, but I think the next question will be a little more open ended. So hopefully
Hmm.
you'll get some points here. Because when I know I mentioned it at the during the broadcast, but like you can have some problems when making ceramics or pottery. So
Hmm.
let's see if you have could figure out one possible reason why when you're baking your ceramics or pottery, why it shatters. Why would it break? And I think we're not gonna say because it's too thin, because we mentioned that in the discussion. So come up with another reason.
Yeah. How
Don't
can you
take my answer.
shatter
Yeah.
pottery while it's
How
still
can
in
your
the oven?
pottery or ceramics break?
With a hammer? No, I'm just, just kidding.
I mean,
No,
yes,
but
but no.
okay, I kind of have an idea with this because I know the same thing happens with other stuff that's like making like glass and stuff, and like temperature changes I know can
Mm-hmm.
break like it can break glass, can break like cups, I think, even like the mugs, like
Yeah.
it can break mugs. So I would say it's I'm just not sure if it's because it's too hot or if it's a sudden change in temperature, but I would say it has something to do with like temperature, like that can maybe crack or break like your pottery while it's still in the oven.
Okay. So kind of like a temperature shock type of thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just imagine myself like cooking like a bowl of like ramen and then like putting like the broth in like a
A
bowl,
cold,
and then the bowl.
yeah, like if the bowl is like it's cold and you put something hot in it, I feel like
Mhm.
you can break that bowl.
True. Okay, so maybe that's one possible answer. And I'm sure there's more than one right answer for this, but Martha, let us know if she was right.
Trapped moisture in the
Okay, that too.
Oh,
Okay.
oh yeah, that makes sense. Like the
Um,
water heating up, boiling in the, I know, between, like maybe between the, yeah, it makes sense.
within the clay. So
Yeah.
I guess is it important to because I guess right when you make the clay, like you have to like knead it, like really like to keep it like even and consistent.
But how do you dry it out then?
That's a
Like,
good
yeah.
question. Yeah. How do you dry out the clay then?
To dry out the clay, after we throw it, we actually like leave it out for a few days, maybe 2 to 5 days, in order to get for it to get fully dry. And then, at least for my school, that's when we cut the clay off of the pottery disc, and then we can fire it after that.
Um.
Ah.
Okay. I was thinking like it's just like a short term, like after a day you're good. No, apparently not. You have to wait. What was that? Like a couple days? Three to five? How long did they wait?
Um, I think it depends on how big and how wet
True.
your clay piece. So for mugs, for the mugs I made, I usually had to wait maybe 2 days.
Ooh, okay. So again, really testing our patience. I think because I don't know if I'd wait that long. Oh, I guess I'd have to, but no, that's a really good point to make. All right. I think we've got time for maybe one more question here. Which, well, let's see if Elson was paying attention
Okay.
earlier in the broadcast. Because well, I guess I kind of brought it up too when I was just talking right now. There is the name of this process to make, well, not really make the clay, but when you're kneading the clay to
Mhm.
not only, I guess, get rid of the moisture, but to get rid of air bubbles too, and to give the clay a uniform consistency, right? Because you don't want some parts of your finished artwork to be uneven. But there is a name for it.
Hmm. Uniform consistency. Removing it. Okay. Now it makes me think that it's not kneading, because kneading is in like the question itself. But I feel like that's the process, right? Because when you're kneading it, you're kind of like removing like the air bubbles
True.
from it.
Okay. But there is another
You-
term for it.
Uniform consistency.
See, I mean, kneading is technically right, but there is another term that they use.
Hmm. I, I'll be honest, I'm lost on this.
Oh no.
Like, nothing's going to mind for me. But uh, I, well, I think the only thing I can really say is kneading. 'Cause, like that's the only thing that I have kind of like a clue about, like in terms of like removing like air bubbles. Because I feel like when you knead it, you kind of remove like air bubbles from it. So I'm gonna lock in on that answer.
All right. Martha, what is the answer?
The answer is wedging. It's called
Wedge.
wedging.
Wedging. Wait, why is it
That's a
called
good
like
point.
wedging? I mean, I'm curious.
I actually don't know either. We just call it wedging.
Okay. Oh,
Good to know.
that's something for me to look up later. Then after the.
All right. I think we have time maybe for some one question from YouTube. Um,
Mhm.
I see here. There's a question here. Are glazed pieces more durable than matte pieces? Do you know, Martha?
Ooh. Like um like a ceramics piece not glazed, like with nothing on it, or like a different like glaze. I have no idea actually. I've only worked with glazes.
Okay. I believe. Well, I think that's maybe another thing to research. What is a matte, matte, piece of artwork? Maybe that means it's unglazed. I'm not too sure, but we can try to look that up for future broadcasts. And if you do have any other questions for those listening in our YouTube broadcast, we can send them to Martha, and then we will let you know of her responses too. So don't think that because this is only a 30-minute broadcast that we're not gonna see your questions. We do. We'll do our best again to forward those to her so that she can answer, because I'm sure she has an expansive amount of knowledge to share. And we thank you for sharing that with us today, Martha. But Actually, though, you're not the only one giving us knowledge today. Right? Also, yeah, she's not the only one. Not
Yes.
today. Because we have
Yes, we
CSD.
have. Sorry, we have our CSD department teaching us how to sign the word pottery.
This is your sign.
Hi everyone, for this week's sign of the week, we'll be signing the word pottery. So what you're going to be doing is that with both your hands, pretend you're sculpting something, just like this. Sculpt, and then what you're going to do next is have your hands out just like this, like you're presenting the sculpture to someone. Okay, so one more time. So pretend you're sculpting, and then show it off. This is how you sign the word pottery. Thank you so much for joining us in this week's This Is Your Sign. We'll see you next time.
This is your sign.
Yes, thank you to our CSD department for teaching us how to sign the word sculpt. Sculpt. It's a. I feel like it's a bit harder for me to do because you can't really see my hands. But we do want to say, our thanks to the people special thanks to the people who make our show possible. First off, to our district ministers here in Great Lakes, Brother Arthur P. Agag and Brother Elmer A. Sarmiento, our assistant district minister and district minister respectively. And we also want to say our special thanks to Brother Wally Taray, our INC radio station manager, to Brother Angelo Iranio V. Manalo, our Deputy Executive Minister, and most importantly, to Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our Executive Minister. Thank you folks for making our show possible. And we do hope that we will see you guys again next week. Remember, in your zone is where you shine the brightest. So we'll see you and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Yes. Gonna make some ceramics to, teach me patience. Thank you, Martha, for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.